welcome back to the Smoky Room. How are we today? I'm trying to figure out. It's freezing around here, but yet my eyes are itching and all kinds of crap. But today, I'm going to kind of take a trip down memory lane and give you folks some insight to how I grew up, where I grew up, and what the social and racial situation was like where I grew up, and you'll see how that's relevant to what's going on today. At least I think so. This is all opinion, believe me. Anyway, I'm looking. Excuse me. There we go. There we go. I know I watch these videos, and with the sniffing sometimes I can see how that could really perhaps turn people off. To get started, I'm going to start at around 1968, April, when King got assassinated in South Philadelphia. That's where I grew up. I grew up in a predominantly Italian, mostly Sicilian neighborhood. Strong Sicilian values, which part of it is the machismo. And it was one of those places where you had to prove yourself with your fists. You get beat up and you beat people up, but getting beat up hurts, damn it. I got my ass handed to me a number of times. But I didn't give up. Well, I just got beat up. Didn't give up, but I got beat up. Anyway, what am I getting to? I don't know. Well, what I'm getting to is when King got assassinated, things around where I grew up, and especially the high school, turned out really bad. Actually, kids died from knife wounds. My brother was in the school at that time, and then it was my turn to go to South Philly High. I think there are prisons that are safer than it was back then. It was this was the apex of the social scientists at the time. They sat back one day and they said, I wonder. Don't you love this white button? I wonder what would happen if we bus a bunch of black kids into a predominantly all Italian school. What do you think? How would that go? Anybody got a clue how that went? Didn't go well, man. Just didn't go well. And things were bad enough as it was, as far as race relations back then. I mean, it was just part of the culture, But the odd thing was that before the politicians really got involved with it and actually hands-on screwing things up, like with the busing, we learned how to get along with each other. You just knew. Okay, I didn't go into that neighborhood unless I was invited. They didn't come into our neighborhood unless they were invited. And especially my neighborhood was the kind of neighborhood where if strangers were walking around, they were usually asked not so politely to leave, regardless of the color of your skin. As a matter of fact, where I grew up, one of our biggest, if you want to call it that, one of our biggest or most prominent enemies were the kids from the Irish neighborhoods, the Irish guys. Well, we called them harps. They called us Dagos. Then one day there was a gang war. One of the Irish kids got knifed and died. And we called a truce, and the Dagos and the harps learned how to live together. But you still really didn't date an Irish gal if you were Italian, and if you're Irish, you didn't date an Italian gal. That took a little while. Now, the high school situation where I went was horrendous. Back then, the Black Panther Party was allowed inside the school, believe it or not, to hand out their newspaper. I think the newspaper is called the Black Panther. Go figure, right? So, of course, that seemed like deliberate agitation, and it caused problems. But the administration back then was okay with it. That was until Frank Rizzo became mayor, and then things really changed, and for the better. But the point, here's where this is going. That when the government gets involved in these kinds of things, it usually doesn't turn out very well. Basically, that's the only reason I'm saying this. Today, politics, it's all racial politics, okay? There's systemic racism in the United States, as we're told, right? We are a racist nation. Black Lives Matter. If you were to go on BLM's website, you will find out unapologetically they are Marxist. That's their beliefs. The Black Panthers were Marxist also. A lot of people didn't know that. They thought they were just a black militant group. No, they were Marxist. That was their philosophy. I think they were Marxist. They may have been Maoists. I'm not really sure. I don't think they were Trotskyites, but who knows? Who cares? Right? But the white guy now is getting a bad rap, okay? Because, of course, since the administration we have in office now says there's systemic racism, then there must be systemic racism, right? Okay. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what the truth is, okay? And here's how I am going to start this. When you watch these videos, you notice, and I have it very prominent, you'll notice the Confederate battle flag. Actually, that's the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia. The Army of Tennessee, their flag was a bit different. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. But anyway, that's my flag. There may be many like them, but that one is mine. So, I know what the question is. Joe, okay, you're an Italian, Sicilian actually. You live in New Jersey. Actually, I'm exit 3. And you've got that on your wall. Makes no sense. Why? Splena to me, Lucy. Well, here's why. because I love history. Okay, I love history. Even as a little kid, like seventh, eighth grade, I think I really took a real interest in the American Civil War. And of course, over the years, my beliefs about things changed, just like everyone. Yeah, at one time, yeah, I was racist. No doubt about it, man. I was racist. Okay, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But then I went into the military. I volunteered, and I made a decision before I took my oath that I was going to go in there just with an open mind. Because I know going in there with the feelings I had, that wasn't going to work. But I needed to get out of where I was, so I had to go into the military. I'm not going to get into that right now. And, yeah, my closest buddy in the Army was a black fella, Golden Gloves boxer. We sparred together a lot. We got drunk a lot and had a lot of fun. His name was Brian. Yeah, boy, he was a piece of work. Anyway, studying the American Civil War, I learned a number of things. I was always in conflict with myself. Was the war fought over slavery? Was it not fought over slavery? Did the war really have to happen? And I do this every frickin' time. Did the war have to happen? Here it is. I think not. I don't think it really had to happen. I personally do not believe Uncle Abe had to invade the South. Right? Does everybody know that? The South didn't invade the North. The North invaded the South. Huh, why? Slavery was legal. Yeah. Yeah, you don't hear about that in school, do you? They don't use that word. Oh, everybody's fine with killing babies. That's legal. Nobody's invading anybody over that one. Right? But back then, slavery was legal in certain states. So if you're a kid, think of how far back it was. I think the late 1600s. I believe the first slave ships came into Massachusetts. That wasn't politically correct, was it? Massachusetts, yeah. That's in the north, isn't it? Yeah, that's in the north. So, having those decades of people growing up, it was normal. A lot of people disliked it, though, because they seen the horrific treatment of humans. There's no way getting around that one, baby. But yet, it was still legal. To the point where, okay, April 12th, 1861. No, whoops. Sorry about that, folks. March 4th, 1861. Fort Sumter was bombed. Man, I'm having a hard time speaking this month. Fort Sumter was bombed April 12th, 1861. Okay, March, April. right? A month apart. Yes? Would we all agree on that? Okay, folks. This is Abraham Lincoln's first inaugural address. Monday, March 4th, 1861. Fort Sumter was bombed April 12th, 1861. That's extremely important to note. I have no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists. I believe I have no lawful right to do so. And I have no inclination to do so. Okay. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Yeah. And then he invades the South. Okay. So he invaded the South to maintain the Union. But we're taught in school that it was fought over slavery. Whitey treating black people wrong. You see, that's what the war was fought over. But wait a minute. What the hell was that guy's name? What was that guy's name? Wait a minute, folks. I'm confused about something. Prince Among Slaves, Terry Alfred, chronicles the life of a young black warrior who was sold into slavery by his fellow black Africans, as a matter of fact. In Sumter, South Carolina in 1860, William Ellison, a free man of color, had 70 slaves working his plantation in Louisiana. He was a free Negro. Okay? And he wasn't alone. There was August Donato, held 70 slaves to work his 500-acre plantation. My God, 500 acres? Wow! That's a lot of property, isn't it? Even in New York City, 8 free men of color owned slaves. Okay, so, Black Lives Matter. Did the Black Lives matter to those black people? And if there's going to be reparations, what are you going to do with the ancestors of these black people paying money to black people for reparations? I want to be there. I want to be there and video that one, baby, when they try to convince those folks that, oh yeah, you got some reparations to to pay off, pal. So anyway, the war being fought over slavery, I don't think so. Come on, man. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't come until 1962. It was politics. The North was getting their ass handed to them by a ragtag army, basically. Although the best army that ever walked the face of the earth. When you got guys that can march and hump equipment 25 miles a day without shoes, that's saying something. Now, if Uncle Abe said he didn't have the inclination to do so, okay, and where is it at? Where is it at? Let me get this one for you too. You see how I prepare for these videos? Here it is. Yeah, this if you're into this kind of stuff, this is a must. There we go. This book, excuse me, was used at West Point. From 1825 until when, I don't know. But in this book, if you went to West Point at that time, it lays out for you why the South had the right to secede. Why any state really has the right to secede. Okay? In plain English. I mean, it's really, you can buy this, you can read it, and oh, wow. So what the hell were these people doing, man? 600,000. 600,000 combatants, not including civilians, just combatants. And I don't think that includes the guys that died later on from their wounds. That's how many human soldiers, South and North, died during the Civil War. So the question begs an answer of why all that slaughter? For what the hell was the reason? If slavery was legal and they had the right, and blacks owned slaves and had the right, if guys were learning in West Point that the South had the right to secede, what the hell was that war fought for? I did Civil War reenacting. Okay? I was with the 17th Virginia Infantry, which mustered out of Alexandria. It was Company B, I believe. Yeah. And I went to Alexandria, actually got to see their actual battle flag, which was it sent chills down my spine. It was bloodstained and every damn thing else, man. We were trying to raise money to get this thing repaired. Now, the way it worked, basically what happened, one day, you're hearing a lot of stuff going on outside. You get up out of bed, you look out your window, and what the hell is going on? All of a sudden, you find out your town is being invaded. And then, like, nobody, what? So, if you're a Southerner, I mean, you're like, first of all, you're probably very confused about what the hell's going on. I mean, think about it, folks. No cell phones, no TV, no radio. So information got to people slowly, right? But once they figured out what was going on, then they got very pissed off. It's like, wait a minute. It's like telling somebody, you know what? Yeah. The state of New York, yeah, you're allowed to have an abortion. But then when you have the abortion, we're going to arrest you for murder. Yeah, abortion's illegal. Yeah, go ahead, go have an abortion. but we're going to be waiting for you out the back door. So when you come out, you're going to get arrested for murder. If I was that person, I think I'd be pretty damn pissed off to the point of wanting to kill somebody. I don't know. But I'm certainly going to fight for my rights, right? To me, that's what that flag represents. Liberty and freedom. I could show you black people that own that flag, that wave it proudly, okay? Okay, yeah. And do classes. I was with, you probably can't, yeah, maybe you can. This little picture here. This was taken, I don't know where the hell I was. At what reenactment that was, I don't remember. But that night, oh man, I don't even know, it was so damn long ago. But we got to hang out. And actually, the neat thing about it was, we were in our camp, the Confederate camp, and all of a sudden, we had the guys that portrayed 54th Massachusetts and were also in the movie came to our camp, just like showed up, man. There was about 6 or 8 of them, I don't know. And we sat around at night, because that's what you do at reenactments. You sit around and jaw with your pards. Those Southern boys can talk for weeks. Let me tell you, you get them whoa. But anyway, of course, the conversation led to the racial problems of the United States and how that flag is misunderstood completely, because, you see, the deep state always, did I say always has to have a boogeyman. What better way to keep this group of people fighting that group of people and keeping their eye off the ball? Because we're fighting them, they're fighting us, and all of a sudden, like the next day, what? We're not allowed to own guns anymore? How the hell did that happen? I can't buy a gun anymore? Yeah, right. So they do things, you see, that's what this is all about. It's all bullshit. And it's going to get worse. Now, with these people in the White House, it's going to get worse. Unless we change things. You and me, baby. Don't expect a politician to help you. They do not know or able to spell the word help. Look, these are facts. They can't be disputed. Uncle Abe, this is his actual speech. Look it up in the Library of Congress. So when your kid comes home and talks about how bad the white man was during the Civil War, you can educate him a little bit. And say, wait a second, Johnny, your teacher doesn't know what the hell he, she, it, whatever they are nowadays. Trans, this, oh my God. Boy, do we live in messed up times. And I'm starting to get angry. But, yeah. I completely lost my train of thought. So, yeah. I look at this issue with a lot of passion, I guess. Yeah, because I took my lumps. Yeah. I took my lumps, man, because I had a problem one day in high school, and I told this young Negro gentleman exactly what I thought of him. I called him the N-word. I said, "You are a nice person." That's not what I said. When I walked into the school, man, did I get my ass kicked. They told me, the cops got involved. I stabbed a guy. Not with I didn't have a knife. I had a big spike on the end of my belt that was hidden. So as soon as I knew there was going to be trouble, I took the bottle, I wrapped it around my hand, and I figured, you know what? I'm only going to be able to get one of them. I might as well. And I got him in the shoulder, and that's all I remember. They picked my ass up off the floor. I'm laying in the nurse's office. The first thing I see is this cop leaning over me. "Who won?" I'm bleeding from everywhere, right? But anyway. So I've got experience with racism. Racism. Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? This is a really funny story. I'll give you an idea what kind of high school I went to. We got called into the assembly one day. And the senior class president, who happened to be a black fella, is on the stage there. And their dances weren't really very successful because not enough people were showing up. And he actually said, we're just wondering why aren't any white people showing up to our dances. This one guy I knew, I went all through school with him, he's passed now, stood up and said, "Hey, that's because we don't know your tribal rituals." And it turned out they had to shut the school down for a couple of days. Such a riot broke out. I was laughing my you-know-what's off. I thought it was funny as hell, personally. But that's the atmosphere I grew up in, And even with that, back then, with all of that, I don't think things were as messed up as they are now. Really, all seriousness. Things weren't as messed up as they are now. We were still able to reason. God is my witness. We were in a room one day. I don't remember who set this up, but I was affiliated with a couple of organizations whose name I will not mention, but they had an opposing point of view to the Black Panthers. And we had kids, seniors, that were members of the Black Panther Party. They're there with their beret and all the other paraphernalia. And we had a dialogue. Surprisingly enough, there was no arguing. There was no raising of voices. Nobody got stabbed, stomped, beat up, or spit at, or cursed out. They wanted my opinion on why I felt the way I do. I wanted their opinion on why they felt the way they did. Okay. And that was a good thing. Can something like that happen today? I doubt it. I truly doubt it. Because the deep state is aggravating things to the point of no return. And if you notice behind the scenes what's going on now, all around the world, there's a nationalist movement. Everybody's telling the globalists, go to hell. We want nothing to do with your global government. So, you see, the only way they could do this crap is like when they signed. Remember what time of morning they signed the Patriot Act? Does anybody remember that one? Boy, they snuck that right through, didn't they? Very quickly. Very quickly. Very quickly. How's that happen? So, all of this crap is planned. Antifa are pawns. They're pawns, that's all they are. Yeah. They're just there as like icing. They just gotta keep things, agitated. To keep your eyes off of what's really going on. And what's really going on, folks, is they want to bring in a world government. They want to control what you think, what you say, what you see, what you hear, where you go, where you live, what you drive. And if they can, every bit of information that you would normally have access to. They want to control that also. And the only way it's going to stop is if you and I do something. Okay? And this guy. And him. Look. I believe that this man was the greatest president we ever had. For a couple of very good reasons. Number one, he made promises and kept them. When did that ever happen? Okay? He wasn't one of the good old boys. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. And from what I could see, he seems to be an honorable individual. Is he conceited? Is he goofy? Sometimes. Does he stick his foot in his mouth? Yeah, a lot. But I'm not hiring a guy to run our country, a superpower with a lot of nuclear weapons, pal, based on personality. Really? Come on. Look at what we got now. First of all, our president. Do you trust him with the button? I don't. Okay, now let's remove him from the picture. How about the skank Harris? Does that make you feel even safer? Look, no doubt about it, we gotta change things. But we gotta get through all the nonsense first and really get an understanding of what's going on. Another term for that is being called red-pilled. That's when you get that poof. Oh, I can see clearly now the rain is going. You want to hear my band, baby. You think I can sing? Hear my band. No, I can sing. I could sing. I sing, they don't want me to, but I can sing. Yeah, that's when you can see clearly. You understand what's going on. You finally made sense out of our political situation. You are able to see who is really controlling things, and you understand what the idea of global governance is all about. who's behind it, where it comes from, how it started, you know. That's an idea that goes way back, you know. We're not the first people that ever thought of that. Adolf Hitler wanted a global government, but he was just such a frickin' whack job. I mean, one evil bastard that guy was. Jeez, God almighty, you know. But you want to know the truth of something? I think Trump was hated more than him. Really. I mean, I knew survivors, okay? They had numbers tattooed on their arms. I never once seen them outside screaming, holding their heads. But when Trump got elected, there were people outside screaming at the top of their lungs, holding their heads. Over what exactly? Somebody, that one I haven't quite figured out yet. But I would elect him again in a heartbeat just to see him do it again. Oh boy, let's do that, okay? Let's make liberals cry again. Oh boy, folks, we got problems here. Right here in River City. I think it was River City, right? Right here in River City. So anyway, we learned a little bit today. We learned that black folk owned slaves. We learned that slavery was legal. And we learned that basically Uncle Abe was a liar. That's what we learned. I mean, look, the guy said, I have no frickin' inclination. That's what he said, right? I have no purpose directly or indirectly to interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists. I believe I have no lawful right to do so and have no inclination to do so. Bam! The war was not fought over slavery. Okay, so why is that taught in school? Could it be to create animosity? You see, the public school system was thought out very well. Horace Mann. Do some research on this beauty. Horace Mann, the father of public education. Okay? And some of the stuff he wrote will upset your stomach. Believe me. Part of his ideals in creating the public school system, one of them was to slowly do away with the family unit. You see, I'm going to save this for another one. But like I said earlier, the idea of global governance goes way back. It's extremely well thought out. The scariest part about it, the richest people in the world are behind this. Do you see how they handled this last election? Has anybody gone to jail yet? Anybody? No. I mean, I've seen video of people breaking the law. Maybe that black chick that took the boxes out from under the table, I don't know, maybe she's doing time. I mean, they probably got to arrest somebody. But the real players, they probably got a raise. That's where we're at with this. So, on that note, I am going to say adios and hi. Is it hi-ho or hi-o, Silver? I think it's Hi-Yo Silver, isn't it? Yeah. Take care, man.